My name is Noni Matikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about Lishebane versus Baloyi and that cross-examination when people thought it was going very well. He's exposing too much and all of that situation of his commentary and stuff. Well, it backfired very fast, Kesana, under re-exam. But before we get into doing that, guys, please make sure you do not forget to like, to share, to comment. And most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you are doing that, you'll be supporting this channel financially and in numbers. Thank you so much. Now, it exploded again, Gesana case Kasenzo, because but this time the danger was not coming from the accused, it was not coming from the defense, and it was not even coming from the witness box. The danger was coming from the growing perception that the investigation itself may be collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions. Inside that courtroom, retired General Vincent Lishebane returned to the witness stand after Advocate Baloyi tried to weaken his credibility during cross-examination. The state wanted the court to believe that Lishebane had contaminated his own evidence by watching the testimony of Constable Zungu before making his statement. It sounds simple, right? Wrong, because what followed was not just courtroom clarification, it became a direct battle over the integrity of the entire investigation. Advocate Mnisi stood up carefully, calm, controlled, surgically. Advocate Ramsipile, he immediately focused on the core issue. He asked Lishebane, do you know of any legal duty or administrative duty that bars a witness from watching proceedings? And the general answered, no, my lord, especially when it is televised all over. Boom, boom, boom. Just like that, the defense destroyed the suggestion that merely watching proceedings was somehow improper. Remember what Ramsipula was really doing here. This was not about television. This was not about YouTube clips. This was not about curiosity. This was about credibility. Because the prosecution's hidden strategy was obvious. They wanted Judge Ratamu to believe Lishebane reconstructed his version after hearing Zungu testify. If the judge accepted that theory, then the witness becomes contaminated, his statements become questionable, his evidence loses weight. But Ramsipile shut that door immediately. Then came the second nuclear strike. Ramsipile asked, did watching the clip affect your statement in any way? Lishebane answered, not at all, my lord. And suddenly the entire momentum changed because now the witness was not retreating. He was standing firm. But the real explosion came moments later. Lishebane began speaking about pressure, fear, consequences, and then he dropped a statement that shook the courtroom atmosphere. If I changed the statement, we thought they were going to arrest me immediately. That line is devastating. Think careful about what that means. A retired senior police general is now telling a Mera court that he believed changing his version could lead to immediate arrest. Whether proven or not, that allegation introduces something incredibly dangerous into this trial, the perception of institutional pressure. And once that enters the courtroom, everything changes because now this case is no longer only about who killed Senzo Meyiwa. Now the court must also wrestle with another question. Can the investigation itself be trusted? That is the battle right now. And Lishebane was not finished. He repeatedly emphasized that he was the one who contacted Minister Bheki Cele about the information from the beginning. That repetition was not accidental. He was establishing ownership of the timeline. He was effectively saying, before the meetings, before the commissions, before the statements, there was nothing. That is massive because the defense has spent months trying to show how the so-called breakthrough narrative evolved over time. That witnesses changed, that statements shifted, that information pipelines became blurry. And now a senior insider is reinforcing that suspicion inside open court. Meanwhile, Judge Ratamu kept trying to maintain courtroom control in his ways. He repeatedly instructed, no, you know how he does things actually. He will do his own situation in his own weird way. Anyway, now the court is becoming aware that every answer from this witness has potential to open entirely new controversies. And he sees it, he understands it, it's there written in his face, eyes, mouth, everywhere. Ne? And notice something critical. The judge never blocked the rehabilitation itself. The defense was allowed to repair the witness. That matters because by the end of the session, Nishebane walked away from that witness stand still maintaining his statement was independent, watching proceeding was not illegal, and he stood by his version despite alleged pressure. This is not the ending the prosecution wanted. And this is where the situation becomes dangerous for the state. The more the trial continues, the less the public discussion centers purely on the murder itself. Instead, the conversation is shifting toward public police conduct, statement integrity, investigative pressure, witness handling, and whether narratives were shaped after the fact. That is why every witness now feels explosive. Every testimony is no longer just evidence. It is now a referendum on the credibility of the investigation, in fact, of the entire investigation. And if the court starts doubting the integrity of how evidence was gathered, handling, or influenced, then the consequences could become catastrophic for the prosecution. Because in criminal law, once reasonable doubt enters the foundation itself, the entire structure begins to shake. And right now, inside the Senzo Meyiwa trial, the foundation is shaking harder than ever before. And right now, Ubaloyi knows that there is nothing that he can do. There is nothing that he can do. The bottom line is that Nishebane was exposing real situations, real pressure inside SEPS, real pressure inside NPA offices, and that battle of competing with a narrative inside the courtroom is something really, really, really happening. And there is nothing that Ubaloyi can do now. And what Mnisi, Ramsipile, both of them did there was successfully repair the witness after Baloyi's cross-examination. And oh my God, they repaired the entire situation. They dealt with Ubaloyi, whether he likes it or not. Now, all that he did on Tuesday, it went up the flames now because Nishebane, the bottom line is the last thing that we remember is what happened during re-exams. What are your thoughts when it comes to Nishebane? I think he has his own issues. I think he also is panicking. I think he also has, he had anxiety of some sort, but I think also there were calls that were made to him that, hey baba, because at some point he began ukutatazela and it was not a good look. And now he was also panicking, frustrated, and he gave too much of his own opinion. But in my personal view, Nishebane made sure, in fact, what Ramsipile wanted from Nishebane was to deal with the story of Zungu, and that was dealt with successful. The bottom line is Zungu lied. Zungu lied, and the other situation that we got from there is Zungu and Gininda could have been working together just before Uzungu went to Nishebane. And the police official that spoke to Uzungu could be Gininda, who sent him to Nishebane. Now, the question that we have, why? Why was he sent to Nishebane? That is the question that we are left with right now. But okay, time will tell. Time will tell because it's the year of revelations. It's the year of exposure. It's the year of everything coming out, and there is absolutely nothing that these people can do. They can't stop it. Oh, they can't stop it, guys. They can't stop it. It's going to go left all the way down. No matter what they try, no matter how they feel about it, it's going all the way down. And somewhere, somehow, they will fight. And these are the fights of these are the kicks of a dying horse. The horse is dying. What you know, see? you can keep flocking or flogging the horse until it, whatever. Yes, that is exactly that. And it's not helping them. But what we have come to realize is that every time Baloyi tries to do this cross-examination, the one thing that he successfully does is to expose the state case. And the one thing that the defense also has successfully done is to expose the so-called investigation itself. The one thing that the defense has managed to do is to plant reasonable doubt. It is oxygen in that state case right now. Reasonable doubt is the oxygen of the state case. Whether Judge Ratta likes it, whether state supporters like it, whether Baloyi and Sibanda like it, that's the bottom line. Reasonable doubt is an oxygen of that state case. Case 636. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. Please make sure that you do not forget to like, to share, to comment, and most importantly, please make sure you are subscribed on the channel. Please make sure you are watching the videos up until the end and you are watching the ads that are coming through. When you are doing that, you'll be supporting this channel financially and in numbers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Bye-bye.